Alright, welcome back again to another Borderlands 4 build video once again for Rafa. And this is probably my favorite build right now to use on Rafa, just because you can again melt bosses like absolutely nothing. And the great thing is, even better than the melting bosses, is you can pretty much use any weapon in the entire game as you wish. In mobbing, you don't have to go ahead and use the hot slugger or the rainbow vomit or a specific weapon. Go ahead and use absolutely everything, because everything will pretty much insta-kill any enemy. You're probably going to be seeing gameplay in the background right now of me using pretty much any weapon that I like. Go ahead and farm different weapons, purples, legendaries, and just go crazy and kill everything. It's going to be so fun to use this. If you guys do enjoy this video and if it does help you out, remember to drop a like down below, and remember to also subscribe for more Borderlands 4 videos just like this one. Another great point I want to make about this build is you don't actually need to use the throwing knife for this, for bosses, so that's another great thing about this build. The full text guide for this build will be down below to the link for Mobalitics. It's going to be all there for you. Alright, so let's first off start by going over our skill trees. Now I'm not going to go into depth with every single description of these skills, but let's go over and why we're going to be using them. Obviously, Peacebreaker is the best skill in the game, so we're going to put that on. And then we're also going to put Huelga 5 points into there for that action skill duration on crit hits. For our mobbing, where you're going to use Instinto, just because those crit hits. And then also for boss melting, we're going to use Bullet Body for those infinite bullets. Now we're going to put Relentia 4 points into there for that damage reduction. I'm also going to put 5 points into shield barriers for that overshield, so we don't die as easy, which is going to be quite tanky. Now let's move over to this blue skill tree. We're going to put 5 points into Las Jarras, just because we want that ammo regen while overdrive is active. We're always going to be having overdrive active. 5 points into the Thrill, and then we're going to also put 4 points into our Cantro and 1 point into Metal Management. Again, we're not going to be consuming any ammo because of Metal Management, and then we're going to put 5 points into the Thrill just because that increased fire rates. Moving down, we're going to go into Brain Bump. We're going to put 5 points into there for that critical hit while overdrive is active. We're also going to put El Soldado. We're going to put 5 points into there for that gun damage. 5 points into Jackie, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then also 5 points into Deadline. And that pretty much takes us to the end of the skill tree. The reason why we put those points into there is just for that increased fire rate, increased crit hit, the increase in time for our skill, and gun damage overall. And yeah, that's pretty much the skill tree. There we go. Now let's talk about the weapons we're going to be using. I would highly recommend using the ceramic bod, just because those torque stickies on the ceramic bod with Rafa just completely obliterates any boss in the game, especially with our bullets augment that we're going to be using. Infinite ammo on this thing just completely rips them. So that's what you want to use for your boss DPS. Now when it comes to mobbing, I like to use the Lumen TK's Wave. I also like the Inexorable GMR. That's another great weapon. It does a bunch of damage as well. And pretty much anything, you can go ahead and use the Burt's Bees. You can use the Hellfire if you want to use that. Just try out a bunch of different weapons. I tried out this weapon here, the Zipper, and it's absolutely like one of the weirdest weapons I've ever used, but I still tried it out and it still did a bunch of damage. Another great weapon here is also, if I do actually have it on this character, I probably don't. But yeah, just use whatever you like. Go ahead and go crazy and have fun. I don't have it, but the Wombo Combo was also an amazing weapon to try out if you've never used it before. Really fun. For our Repkit, we are going to be using the triple bypass, just because those 3 charges allow us to bring our skill back up if it does ever go down. The 3 charges will give you that right back there, and yeah, absolutely great. Survivability is always going to be there as well. You have 3 charges. It's probably the best Repkit in the game, I think. Everyone has their, opinions, but I think this is a great one. For our Ordnance, you don't have to use anything. I'm just using the knife just because I have 3 points into Deadeye and it's just there. And if you do have it, go ahead and put it on. But for this build, you don't even need it if you do not have it. But obviously, if you do have something that's very strong, like the Penetrator throwing knife, go ahead and put it on for that extra damage. But I'm not going to be using it just for this video. Next up is our class mod. I'm using the Devastating Dancer. Specifically, we want that skill damage and action skill cooldown rate high. And it's a great skill mod just because we're gonna also get points into Tamario and also Saltado. This one I have 1 point into Saltado and 3 points into Temerario. If you can get those higher, that's great. Everything else is just kind of a bonus, but you want to get those specifically. And obviously overdrive bonuses are increased by 100%. Overdrive ends whenever Rafa's skill action ends, and that's a special skill for that. It's a great one. Next up, our energy shield. We're going to be using the Super Soldier, just because it's going to be a pretty good shield in the game. It's probably one of the better ones in the game as well. And that's the one I have on. And yeah, it's a pretty good one. For mobbing, of course, you can go ahead and use the fireworks for that extra damage for enemies. It's another pretty good shield as well. And lastly, for our enhancements, what I highly recommend here, you don't need a specific one, but you also do want gun damage and gun critical hit damage increased by at least 25 or 50. The higher the better, but you can switch it out for different ones if you do have a different one. Right now I'm just using this one. It's a purple, it's not really that great, but I do have that gun damage and critical hit damage, 50 and plus 25. There's a couple more that I do have here. But yeah, that's kind of the main thing that you want to focus on. I do have bounce pass on this one. Guns with Jacob's lasting pass increase the number of possible ricochets by 1, which is great because I also do have some Jacob's weapons that I do use. And lastly, our firmware. Obviously, we want Deadeye just because of that gun accuracy increase. Gun critical hit damage is also increased. And again, more points into critical damage. Next up, we want high caliber just because that's gun damage is also going to get another increase. And projectile speed also works well with fire rate. So that's also going to be increased by 25%. And that pretty much takes us to our character. And lastly, for our specializations, what we want to do here is put riddle you this, and then we also want now with caffeine, and then I am a gun, and lastly we want a bullet train. And that is pretty much it when it comes to our character. And that's going to take us to the end of the video. I'm just going to kill the boss here real quick just so I can show you guys exactly how to do it. When Ultra Volt Hunter mode, this guy is quite tanky, but let's go ahead and use it against him. I'm going to just use the throwing knife because I just want to just see how I actually can melt this boss with it. Like I said, you don't have to use it. You've already seen me use it without it. But there we go. The boss is getting absolutely melted and he is dead. And there's my game starting to crash. And yeah, there we go. He just got absolutely ruined. Alright, let's just do it one more time against this boss. I'm not going to use a throwing knife in this one, just because I want to test it out as well. Just see how fast we can actually kill him without the throwing knife while using this build. And yeah, let's go ahead and go again against the Maddox boss. Alright, there we go. We're just going to spam him completely to the face. His crit spot's kind of weird because he shakes the camera quite a lot. And there we go. His health is gone. And there we go. That's it without the throwing knife.